Okay, and we should be live. Hopefully we're live. Okay, guys, hope everyone is doing well and hope everyone is staying hydrated. Oh wow, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done the streaming thing. So I've been getting a lot of requests on computer science, like NEA, and looking at coursework. Been getting a lot of questions about it. So I just thought it'd be very, very beneficial to anybody who's going through A-level computer science, who has their NEAs or coursework, to go through a live stream and yeah, pretty much just go through my coursework. So in this video, I'll be going through my coursework. Just for context, I study AQA, but this should work if you're doing another exam board. I know OCR is a very popular exam board for computer science. So if you're doing anything like OCR at Excel, still stick with the stream or still stick with the video. And yeah, and also for context, I achieved 65 out of 75 of my coursework, so I scored that. And I also ended up getting an A in A-level computer science. But I've already made a video going through things that I wish I did to achieve an A star, or even if you just want to achieve a top grade in general, just watch that video. I might link it in the description. So yeah, it's just been a while since I've done the streaming thing, but yeah, I'm gonna get started shortly. So if you are watching this as a video, then skip to different sections of the video. I think I might have it timestamped or anything like that. So yeah, feel free to skip to different sections of the video. And yeah, also, if you want to know anything like the programming language, I'm gonna go through the code and I'm gonna go through the actual coursework, what it's about and stuff. But if you want to know the programming language I used Python. The GUI I used, the graphical user interface, was Tkinter. And yeah, pretty much I think what's best is to go through how I thought of the idea. So another thing that people have been asking a lot is, how do I think of a coursework? How do I think of a very, very creative idea? And it doesn't actually have to be that creative. At least for AQA, creativity isn't what scores you the points. It's mainly the amount of processing your program does. So what I mean by processing is taking in data and then doing something with that data. So for instance, my coursework is, I don't know actually. Let me show you. Let me show you something, because it's similar to this. So if you've ever used Quizlet or Anki, my coursework pretty much works in a similar fashion. So essentially what Quizlet and Anki is mainly known for is creating flashcards and quizzing users on flashcards. So okay. So if I show you a quick, if I show you a quick example of what I mean by this. Okay, start test. Okay, pretty much what I've got here, hopefully this thing works. Oh well. There we go. Dismiss. Whatever. What I have here is this is a flashcard. This is pretty much a flashcard, and essentially what this is using Quizlet. I don't know why it's like this. Oh well, it's like this for now. So what mine does is different to this. Obviously, it's got different multiple options, but my program has it. So then the program asks this question, and then you'd have to type in one of these answers, whatever the answer is for it. And that's what my program is basically. That's basically what it is. So processing data in this would be taking in the answer and seeing exactly whether it's correct. And obviously that's just that's just a basic rundown of what my coursework is about. There is a lot more that I go in depth in this video that I've utilized in my coursework that has scored me top marks. And there's a lot of waffling I've done in my coursework that, you know, I wish I didn't have to do because I didn't actually need to do, because it didn't add or subtract marks. You know, it's just basically pointless and useless. So I'll be going through all of that in this video. Yeah. That's so how I thought of the idea though, because a lot of people are like confused on whether, oh, what idea should I go? Just go for anything that, you know. I say go for anything that, you know, you'd like to anything that you recognize in the world. So I recognize Quizlet in the world, and I was thinking, you know, with Quizlet I can add a lot more programs, and like I not programs, but I could do a lot more things. I could, like, you know, make additional features and stuff like that. If you can recognize a program in the world, and then if you know, like, you can, you know, replicate that program, then just go for it. There's different ways of like figuring out how to make coursework. You can ask ChatGPT, you know, can you give me like a project idea for A-level computer science? You can go and search for ideas online. You know, you can ask your teacher as well if you feel like this idea is like okay. If you have any questions, like specific questions to ask me, you can always DM me on Instagram. I should link that in the description soon. I will do that. And yeah, but essentially the way I thought of it was just like, I know Quizlet, let me just do Quizlet, because the user could just enter in the their question and enter in that answer. So I'll go through a demonstration of my coursework right now, actually. I want to see. I'm gonna go through. Okay. In my class, there's 8 people doing a I'm gonna go through. Sorry, I'm gonna go through the demonstration of my coursework soon, but someone just mentioned something in the chat. In my class, there's 8 people doing a simple 2D runner game, and my teacher said we have to change it due to plagiarism. But surely, if the code is different and certain concepts are different, then also, can I use AI systems with IDEs such as Replit to help me code my NEA or use software such as ChatGPT? There's 8 people doing, but okay, because there's 8 people doing it, I think I see where the problem is. There's 8 people doing it. That's a lot of people in your class who's doing the same coursework. And essentially, the way that examiners check, you know, depending on your class size. If it's a huge class size, then I'm pretty sure the exam board that you're sitting takes like 15 courseworks from your class, or like, I think 10 to 15, and then just checks like, you know, this is good, this is good. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure. And then the rest, and then like they mark those 15, but then the rest the teacher marks, if that makes sense. But if your classroom size isn't that big, then they'll, like, you know, the exam board will mark everyone's. But pretty much, if the exam board was to pick 15 courseworks and they were all, most of them were very similar, and the codes would be very similar if it's like the 2D runner game. If they are similar, then yeah, it is plagiarism. So I get where you're coming from. Surely, if the code is different and certain concepts are different, but it's you're still gonna be like processing this like same thing. It's still gonna be the same general idea. If that makes sense. And a lot of you guys are doing it. So can I also use AI systems? So such as Replit. So interestingly enough, I actually use Replit for my coursework. I don't recommend that though. I actually don't recommend that. Just because just because like it's genuinely slow. It's slow at processing data because it's a website. It's not really like a actual proper software, you know what I mean? So I don't recommend using that as an IDE. I used it, I got away with it. I ended up getting 65 out of 75. I'm pretty sure the IDE you use won't change anything. It's just easier to use a a proper IDE, if that makes sense. And whether you can use ChatGPT, I don't know. Genuinely, I don't know. If you're asking if you can use ChatGPT to like program anything on it, I don't know. You can definitely use ChatGPT to help you out, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna need to like reference ChatGPT. What if you use AI? Again, you can use ChatGPT to like, if you have a question on like maybe an idea of like, with my coursework, how can I improve it or anything like that, then you can use ChatGPT for that. You also can use it for coding as well, but you need to reference it. I think the thought process for creating an NEA is crazy. There are people in my class who have never coded and are still on basic. It's hard to read. And are still on basic. How can they code a whole program or function? And to be honest, there's so many different sources that people can use if they haven't ever programmed or anything. It's a very crazy concept, the fact that you're creating a program if you've never really like coded before. But there's so many different YouTube tutorials out there that can help you create anything. And to be honest, when you're using, because I'm using Tkinter, and Tkinter is a GUI that what GUI stands for is graphical user interface. I'll show you my coursework actually. I think that's the easiest thing to do. Hold up. I'll show you my coursework and I'll show you what Tkinter looks like. Because programming on Tkinter is pretty much like copying and pasting what other people have like created. Because let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. So essentially what I mean, this is my code, and yes, it is on Replit. Like it's crazy. But pretty much all of this is used to like create a button, This is used to create a button, and most of this is copy and paste. So even if you haven't done anything coding related, really, I use YouTube tutorials to follow me through this. I'll show you the YouTube videos that I used, but essentially, essentially that's my code. I'm gonna show you what my coursework looks like. Because, by the way, you don't need to make your coursework look pretty. Don't worry about how that coursework looks. No one cares about how the coursework looks. They only care about how it works. Okay, which is why my coursework looks like this. This is the menu. This is my revision application. So like genuinely, you don't need to worry. So yeah, it's got the title. It's got 3 buttons, and this is how it works. So like I explained at the beginning, if you join in late, my coursework is all about creating flashcards and then quizzing yourselves on the flashcards you created. So then this program will randomly generate like different flashcards that you created in a random order. And what sets are is basically a deck of flashcards. So one set could be maths, one set could be physics, one set can be geography, one set could be, English. So there's different sets that you can create, and this is the quizzing option, and you'll quiz after you've created the flashcards that you've decided to create. Right, I really hope this works. I haven't used this program in years, so if it works, whatever happens, whatever. What I remember with my application, you were able to save the flashcards you made. So no matter what, anytime you came onto it again, it would save your flashcards. So let me see if I display. There we go. These flashcards were previously made. It's because I've saved them before. So those flashcards are the ones that I've made before, but I'm gonna go through all of this. So if I remove all of these flashcards and save the flashcards, then hopefully, okay, it's lagging a bit. This is why Replit's not great. It's because it's lagging a bit. Okay, hopefully, if I run this back, Hopefully if I run this back and then I hit display, yep, there's no flashcards because I removed all of them and I saved them. So if I wanted to add more, I can add more. So if I wanted to add like, what should we add? What should we do? Maths. Y equals mx plus c, and then we can say that is linear or something. If I add a new flashcard, then it adds on to the deck. And then if I say imaginary number or something like that, and then the definition is I, because that's what imaginary number is. And then add a new flashcard, then that's it. And then what else should I do? If I say, I don't know, how do you create flashcards on on maths? I don't know, what should I say? Let's just say algebra. Algebra, and then I say the definition is X. And then add a new flashcard, and then create the set. Hopefully, if I display it here, there we go. Here, it shows all of the flashcards I've created. And let me just save the flashcards that I've created. And then hopefully, if I run this back, hopefully, display, there we go. There we go. Those are the flashcards. And obviously I can add more and I create how much I want. So that's essentially what this is. And I added more functions and more things to it. So obviously when you quiz and then go to sets, and then what I'm going to type in is my set that I created, which is maths. Choose that. Next. You can either practice the flashcards you made, or you can examine like the flashcards you made, if that makes sense. So if I'm going to use practice and then start, there you see like a little really bad stopwatch on the top left. So imaginary number we said was I. Answer correct. There we go. Next. Y equals mx plus c. Now this function, linear. So it is linear, that is the answer. However, I'm just gonna, let's say I like had a typo and then I'll answer it. It is incorrect, but in some situations, in some instances, it would like, I don't know how to explain it, it would allow it. That's X, right? I think. Okay, incorrect. Okay, linear. Let's see what this one says. Answer. Incorrect. Okay, that's fine. And then end practice quiz. And then you can view the results. You could do better. You score 50%. And what this allows, so what this section is it allows you to practice your weak areas. So here it shows the most weakest one, like the most weakest flashcard. It shows you the best answered flashcards, and then it shows you like the worst answered ones. So practice weak areas is pretty much, you're able to practice those weak areas, the ones you weren't like getting well in, and only those ones. And practice the weak areas in order. In order means in order of how badly you've done them. So I was able to implement those, and that is essentially, and it also allows you to do an exam practice on that, but that is essentially what my coursework is about. I know there was a few questions being asked in the chat, so I'm gonna go to the chat like right now. Okay. Sorry, also I've heard from previous students that they coded the whole project, then did the writing and created their own errors to get marks. Would you recommend coding bits? Then yes, I do recommend that. My teacher told me to do that as well. So what K1626 is pretty much saying is there's a section with your report, because your report is the only thing that the examiner will see. The examiner's not, sorry if you can hear my dog in the background, but the examiner essentially won't, the examiner won't test your code out. the only thing the examiner will see is your report. So, yeah. So what a lot of students end up doing is they create the actual code first, and then they do the report after, which is what I ended up doing. And there's a testing section that I'll go to in AQA. But essentially what testing is pretty much you going through your code and then writing it as a report. So you test for this, you set at the beginning of your report. I'll show you. I'll go through this actually. I'll go through this. Don't stress. I won't stress you guys out about that right now. Sorry, I meant basics. And are still on. Yeah, basics. I think yeah. I need to work on my programming, especially for the OCR paper 2, which has high mark programming questions. So, so sorry about my talk. She's so annoying. Okay, I need to work on my programming, especially for the OCR paper 2, which has high mark programming questions. So is there any courses or tutorials I should use? Pretty much any ones that you feel like are most beneficial to you. Yeah, pretty much if you go on YouTube and then type in, I don't know how OCR paper 2 works. I don't know whether it's like proper programming or if it's pseudocode, but essentially if it is proper programming, just type in like Python tutorials and you should find it there. By the way, what I wanted to go through as well with my GUI is when I was coding and I was alongside other people, they were very confused on how I was able to press buttons and then switch to different tabs. There actually is a YouTube video that I use for this, and I'm pretty sure it was this first one here, but there's different ones that are available. Pretty much it's called, switching between different frames. So if you wanted to try and know how to have it, so then you see here, anytime I click a button, it switches to another page. Not everyone's coursework was like that, but mine was like that. If you want to find out how to do that, then use these YouTube videos, use these YouTube tutorials. Type in this and then just use any of this. But essentially, yeah. I'm going to be going through, I'm going to be going through my coursework right now. Okay, in fact, before I go through my coursework, hope everyone's doing well on the stream. Hi Kieran, how is uni going? Uni's uni, man. I'm in summer right now, so I'm just trying to enjoy as much in summer as possible, to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys my coursework, and I'm also gonna show you guys the specification, because one thing that's important if you're doing computer science, A-level, one thing that's very important is to look at the specification, because that shows you how you're gonna get your marks, and that's one thing that I wish I did when looking at my coursework. Your stream will be quite long, but you don't have to stick through if you're watching this live, you don't have to stick through all of it. If you'd like to ask any questions about computer science or anything in general, feel free, but yeah. I'm gonna show you guys. Sorry, I'm just gonna show you guys the Sparks. Of course, I remember you. My dog is so annoying. I gotta think straight. I need to stay hydrated. Hold up, let me mute my mic, because when I'm looking at this back and it's just my little dog head, it's gonna be so annoying. Okay, finally, I've gotten it up. Okay, so this is AQA. Like I said before, this is AQA, and starting from here. Wait, yeah, starting from. So sorry. Okay, I was just trying to find the NEA. So starting from here, page 96, that's where the NEA specification. I know specifications are like so long and whatever, you know, but like they are very necessary to make sure that you get the marks that you want. So this is analysis. So I'm gonna go through my analysis and I'm gonna go through how much I got and how much, you know, I could have gotten better. I'm gonna skim through it, so it's not gonna be like me going through like specifically everything. But yeah, all the time you always want to look at the top marks that you do in life. Anytime you're doing something, you want to do amazingly. So I recommend looking at the top marks of this. I'm gonna answer the questions actually, and then I'm gonna answer as many as I possibly can. Sorry that I've been like focusing on different things and all that, but if anyone has any questions, now's the time to ask. Yeah, I remember you, Sparks. Yeah, I remember you, bro. Yo, Kieran, currently in year 12, and I'm not the best at programming. Any tips? Yeah. If I have any tips, literally, go on YouTube, right? Okay. So here's YouTube right now. Go on YouTube, type in this. Type in whatever programming language. Let's just assume you're doing Python, okay? Python for beginners. And there are so many classes on YouTube that are literally free. And just go through it. And don't just watch it, but actually code as well. If you have two monitors or if you have like a phone and a laptop, that's perfect. Watch the video on your phone, and then if you see like or on a different monitor, and then on your actual laptop, use like an IDE to code. So the one I used is Replit. I just used Replit because it was just the easiest to use the code. And Replit's advanced as well, such that, you know, it's got inbuilt AI. So like AI telling you, you know, I think you meant this, or like telling you exactly what went wrong. And it's just a good way to help you master programming. If you literally watch this, but don't watch it all together, because it's 4 hours long. Like I ain't got 4 hours on my time, even though you got 24 hours. I ain't got 4 hours on my time. But like if I like just watch these in sections, like if I watch half an hour of these, you know, every 2 days, then I'll master Python in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So like, I recommend just doing that. And that's for anyone who isn't new to programming or isn't the best at programming. Literally just follow that and use Replit, and then you'll get better over time. And anytime you need questions, just type in like the question, like you know, how, you know, Python, how to, you know, return multiple values. And then it'll say on Geeks for Geeks, or it'll say on Stack Overflow exactly how to do that. So you could Google's your friend, YouTube's your friend, and Replit is definitely your friend. I'll answer a few more questions and then I'm gonna get on with like going through my coursework. Someone said something about it as well. Love your content, man. Thank you. There from day one. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, no, like Sparks, I fully remember you. I remember your name having a capital X though, I think, right? I think. So I do remember, yeah, for sure. Do you know any websites? Yeah. You gotta pay for Replit now. You're bugging. There's no way you gotta pay for it now. Because I'm on it right now. Create one. I'm on the limit. No way. No way you have to pay for it now. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh shoot. Nah, you gotta be kidding me, man. Oh. Well, if you can, download Python or any look up an IDE that's best, to be honest. But damn, you gotta pay for it now. That's crazy. Life has changed. Life has changed. Um okay, start practicing now. Yeah. I have a question. Can I get into Imperial or UCL for computer science with A star, A star, A predicts with an A star in maths? I'm pretty sure you can. Double check with the Imperial and UCL website and look at the entry requirements for computer science. But I'm pretty sure for UCL you can get in with those grades. I'm not gonna do it on the stream, but please do on your own time. Just type in Imperial or UCL and then look at computer science entry requirements, and then if they said that those are the entry requirements, then you can get it. But also, you know, the entry requirements that they show on the website is the most. When you actually go through the application process, there could be a chance that you'll get a contextual offer, which means that your entry requirements will lower down. And the contextual offer is based on what school you go to and what area you're around. And I think based on like, yeah, just based on the area you're around mainly. So yeah, but just yeah, just search up, I say. I go into my dream uni because this is Darren Fletch, my guy Darren Fletch. Would rather keep my uni private, fair enough. Yeah, I'm not gonna delete any of the things. I have a question. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, fair enough. Wait, I have a question. Can I get the math with A star maths, MEng in computer science? By the way, I don't understand your question there. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I'm gonna go through. So for the people watching this as a video, I'm gonna go through the coursework now. Literally. Okay. So. Okay. So this is what my coursework looks like. Real quick. This is what my coursework looks like. And, you know, all of this, pages 5 to 27, is me going through analysis. There's not really much to go through in analysis. I'm just going to skim through. I gave an introduction. So what the introduction is pretty much you explaining your solution. Like, explaining, like, you know, what can your program be used for? How is it useful in real life? You know, you have to give a scenario, and 90% of the time they're not true. They're not real scenarios. I gave a scenario that isn't real, but I gave a scenario as an example. So yeah, I'm not gonna go through my content. I'm just gonna skim through it. So gave a summary of what the problem was. I gave details in terms of like what you can use the problem for. I described the users that they'll be useful for, which is students or anyone who's looking to, you know, just get a lot more out of, yeah, just looking to get a lot more out of revision. So that those are the users that they're going to be useful. This is an interview that I like created. I just made up a fake interview, to be honest. No, actually, it was a bit real. Some of it was real. I was asking people and like giving my takeaways from the interview. So in this interview, this happened, that happened. I also surveyed students, and this survey was real, funnily enough. So I used I think I used Google something. I used Google something to help me out with this interview. Did I mention it here? I don't think I mentioned how I like interviewed it and collected the data. it's very useful that you like display all of this data as like a pie chart or as like a table, you know. So then I ask people questions like, you know, do you use flashcards for revision? How many people do? So then I was hoping that people would say they like usually use flashcards or something like that. And then I was just like, you know, do you use flashcards digitally or manually? And then people use it manually. And which one would you prefer, digital or manual? And then people say digital, and I'll be like, yes, that, you know, these are reasons for using my program. So analysis pretty much promoting your program is essentially saying my program is going to be useful for a lot of people, and this is why. And, you know, I asked them to explain why digital or manual, and, you know, more efficient, it would be easier. So then I was saying, okay, so we should, you know, use digital flashcards and all of that. There was here that was saying like which one's most important. Google Forms? Yeah, I did use Google Forms. Good, thanks. Do you think Anki is worth trying? I think it's worth looking into. I didn't really use Anki, I used Quizlet mainly, but that's not based on preference. That's just because I was introduced to Quizlet and I just decided using Quizlet is alright. But I know a lot of people are bigging up this Anki thing, so I'm just gonna say yes, use Anki. But past papers mainly. Flashcards. Flashcards are useful if you want to remember information, but when you're going into A levels, remembering information, the most can get you is a C. But actually learning how to problem solve and all of that stuff, and how to answer exam questions and literally use the mark scheme to help you with that. Just learning that whole process will get you your A's and A stars. So I really recommend just using Anki and also, you know, practicing a lot of past papers. So yeah, I just went over the takeaways from the survey. And then I mentioned other different apps that are out there, such as Quizlet. I think I mentioned Anki as well. Don't know if I did. Yeah. I also mentioned Anki. You can create decks with Anki, you know, and how these are similar. And then proposed solution, I'm going to create a revision application that can you know, that can do that. And objectives, these are all the objectives that I've laid out. So the main menu will be displayed. You'll be able to create a set. You'll be able to be quizzed on your sets, arithmetic, and basic languages. You'll be able to edit your sets, so you'll be able to add more flashcards, delete the flashcards you made, and save the flashcards that you created. Yeah, and the user will be able to add flashcard, you know, The user will be prompted to Yeah, pretty much me going through all the objectives. So the quizzes you'll be able to either be able to be practiced on the. I hope I'm not speaking too fast, by the way. You'll be able to practice the flashcards that you've made, or be examined on the flashcards you made. So practicing is just you going through the flashcards as many times as you want. Exam conditions means that you're going through, if you create 6 flashcards, you're only going to be quizzed on those 6 flashcards. And at the end of it, you can get an A star, you can get an A, you can get a B, a C. But for practice mode, that doesn't allow that. Obviously, I try to make it as like versatile as possible. But yeah, why is my thing frozen? Okay, I don't know why my thing's frozen. Just give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. We're working. Yeah, we're working here at least. Okay, so here I use this very, very important algorithm called the Levenstein distance algorithm. And what this essentially does, I'll explain later, actually. I'll explain later. And yeah, these are my objectives though. And this is where we go into the design section. So before I go into that, you know, analysis, like I mentioned, you know, it's pretty much you promoting your coursework. But if I go into the design section, what I got 7 out of 9 from, by the way, I got 7 out of 9 for my analysis, I think. And the reason I got 7 out of 9, I think I got 7. I don't know. Yeah, I think I got 7. The reason I got 7 was because I think with the proposed solution, it was a bit like basic. You know, I could have got a lot more in depth into the proposed solution. I could have also like given like a bit of, I could have given a bit of detail into like what I've created so far. So those are the reasons why I got 7 out of 9, if that makes sense. But if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. But I'm gonna go through my design section. I got 4 marks for my design section. So the design section is here. To get 10 out of 12, you need a fully or nearly fully articulated design for a real problem that describes how all or almost all of the key aspects of the solution or investigation are structured. I don't know why I read it out. But essentially, in the design section, you're going to be going through the skeleton of your program. You're going to be going through, this program does this program does that, this program does that. There's going to be a lot of flow charts. I'm going to go through my section. I'm going to show you exactly what I wrote down. So literally starting off with this. What I've learned from my teacher is examiners love diagrams. No matter what, just make them as complicated as possible. Yeah. And to create these diagrams, I actually use this website called Lucid Chart. I use Lucid Chart. So yeah, there we go. Okay, I think I got loaded up there actually. So I use Lucid Chart, and yeah, from here I was able to create my own things. So yeah, I recommend using Lucid Charts to create stuff like this. Do I study computer science? I study electrical and electronic engineering at uni, but I studied computer science. When did I do my exams? I sat my exams in 2023. I studied computer science at A-level. But yeah. So, yeah, that's like this. What this is, to explain, is pretty much me going through the whole window. So as the user, you'll interact with the Takinta menu. You can create a set which will take you onto the set maker. You can also save your sets onto a flashcard database. You can also load that flashcard database. You can do so many different things. That's me pretty much saying that. You can also display the sets. You can remove the sets from the database. You can load the sets from the database. You know, you could go to, as a user, you can go and you can load up the previous flashcards that you made on the database. All the results of your exams are there. It sounds very complicated because you haven't created it, but I have. That's why it sounds very complicated, but the point is you want to make it sound complicated, and that's what gets you the marks. So, yeah. If I go down a bit more, this is my UML diagram. And to be honest, I forgot what this is. I think it's me going through every single function that I have in my code. And the descriptions of the algorithms, I go through exactly what algorithms I created. So the algorithm for creating flashcards, I'll talk about it. You know, I put 3 boxes like here. Wait, if I go back. Which example did you do? I did AQA. Were you already a confident coder before going into A-level? I wasn't ever really a confident coder, but I did do GCSE computer science, so I guess I was a bit confident. Yeah, I guess I was a bit confident. So the algorithm for creating flashcards. Algorithm for creating flashcards will display 3 input boxes. The first being the name, title, the second and third being time and definition. So let me show you what I mean. So if I create a set, key definition, so this one will be to add a flashcard, this one will be to create the set, and they'll display input boxes. So the title, term, and definition. And pretty much it's me going through every single frame and pseudocoding it. That is essentially what I did. And I also added some flowcharts. So this one's for loading and displaying sets. So start, create flashcards, yes. If there are no sets in the... Wait, I don't know what I'm talking about. So start and create flashcards. Display flashcards. Do you want to add more sets? The program will ask if you want to add more sets. If you want to, then create more flashcards. And then you can display the flashcards. Do you want to add more sets? No. Do you want to remove the sets? No. Do you want to save the flashcards? Yes. Save to database. Do you want to add more flashcards or sets? Yes. And then we'll go to here, add more sets and stuff like that. So that's or not even add more sets, or go to here, create flashcards, and then we'll add more sets. It will do all of that. So that's essentially what the flowchart was for. And this is a data dictionary just explaining what, you know, what does and stuff like that. There was a lot that I included here, to be honest with you. I pretty much just went through every single section of my program. But yeah, and I made it very, 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 very complicated, and like I included a lot of information. I don't know why. I hated this section so much. I hated the amount of time it took for me to create all of this. For me to write all of this. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely, I don't know if you watched my video, but I made a video on A-level computer science. One of my tips was to literally not focus too much energy on coursework, because it's 20%. And because it's 20% and you're draining so much energy out and you're burning yourself out near exam period or near exam season, it's not worth it. Really, it's not worth it. So start early and don't stress too much about your coursework. Stress enough to the point where you want to do well, but if you're adding 10 more pages for one extra mark, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It'd be more beneficial to spend 2 hours on 10 pages, to spend 2 hours on revising for your actual exam, because that revision could get you 3 marks in your actual exam, and will end up being a lot more because it's not 20%. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So this is where I talk about the Levenshtein distance algorithm. So what the Levenshtein distance algorithm, as I explained here, is an algorithm which calculates the minimum edit distance between two strings. That sounds complicated. What I mean is, wait, if I go to edit set, in fact, yeah. What I mean by this, let me just open this up. What I mean is, if I was to ask you, you know, I don't know, if I was to ask you like something and then you know, the answer would be dog, you know, you put in dog as an answer, but the answer was actually dig instead of dog. You entered a typo, you know. On my keyboard right now, as you see it, here, I and O are literally right next to each other. So it's easy for me to like type in dog instead of dig. So the answer was dig, but I typed in dog. My question to you is, should I give you the marks because you've typed in dog when you meant dig? And that's what my program takes into account. It takes into account whether something should be correct, given that they put in a typo. If something was completely a long word like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, something like that, something crazy, ridiculously long, yeah, and then they misspelled one letter. I have it so then my program notices that, and then says, you know what, it's a long word, I will give you the marks, however, this is the actual, this is the actual word, but you just put a typo. And the way I was able to do this is by implementing the Levenshtein distance algorithm. And that's essentially what it does. So, like it shows here, kitten and sitting. The program will take this and then it will compare this string, which is what you entered, with this string, which is the actual answer. And then it will create a score. In this case, it will create a score 3 because kitten, you can, to get from kitten to sitting, you can change K into S, you can change E into I, and then you'd have to add a G in the end. And that is 3 different things. And that's essentially what my program does. And this is just me like showing exactly like a visual display of like it, essentially. And that is my pseudocode for it. You can literally search this online. I think I used a YouTube video. Helping me know exactly how to do this. So yeah, dog and dig, yeah. The problem though is that with dog and dig, although it's only 1 typo and it will be 1 score. Yeah, although it's 1 typo and it will be only 1 score, it still shouldn't be like, I still shouldn't accept you typing in dog when the answer was dig, just because they're 2 completely different things. Like, you may not mean dog is a typo. I can't just assume you mean dog is a typo. And the reason why I say they're 2 different things and it's not a typo is because dog is only 3 letters long. You know what I mean? Dog is only 3 letters long, and you've typed, out of those 3 letters, you typed in 1 letter wrong, which is a lot, which is a huge difference. So I shouldn't allow you to, make that exception. So that's what my program also takes into account. Which, I can't lie, the Levenshtein distance algorithm carried my marks, for sure. Because it's just such a weird, different concept that not a lot of people have heard about. Sorry, I'm speaking a lot, but I'm just explaining what I've done. This, to be honest, with this whole thing, with me talking, so I've spoken about the Levenshtein distance algorithm. What it does is generate a score. The higher the score, the more different the word is to the answer. And it uses that, and it also uses the length of the word to determine whether it should be correct or not. What my program does at the end, if I go onto quiz section, if I go into sets, if I go and choose maths, choose that, and then go to next, and then go to practice, and then start. Imaginary number I, correct, next, algebra X, answer, next, IL, it should be wrong. Oh, it says almost there. The reason, if I was completely off, it would say incorrect. But because I said IL, it was almost there. Okay. Answer, correct. And then linear, I'll just get this one correct. Cool. And then end practice quiz. View the results. Hopefully it views them. Very good. I scored 75%. Cold. Practice week areas and practice week areas in order. So essentially what my program also does is it sees these and says, out of the questions that you've been quizzed on, which one was the worst? Which questions, which flashcards weren't the best answered? And there's a whole weird thing I did for this. I'm not going to go into it too much in this video because I've probably already hurt your head because I've mentioned and explained so much in this stream. But essentially, this is standard deviation. This just looks quite complicated, but it's something that if you'd done A-level maths, you'd be exposed to. So yeah, there was a complicated thing I did, or kind of complicated thing I did in this, and explaining it itself was quite complicated as well. Answer questions if it's an AQA. Well, actually, or Q&A. Well, actually, it's me going through coursework and also answering questions alongside it. Because if I don't go through this, there's not going to be many questions to answer, or people are going to ask questions. I'm going to go through the questions after I go through this section, but I'm just explaining this real quick. But yeah, I also somehow implemented a binary tree, which is funny enough, and I was able to show it here. But yeah, I'm gonna answer questions now, I think, because that was pretty much the design section. All right. Anyone have any questions for design? Go through this. Yeah, so just to remind everyone why I did my NEA is I pretty much made a program such that a user could enter the flashcards or create flashcards they want, and the program will get those flashcards, randomize them in a random order, and then ask you those questions and quiz you pretty much. So pretty much just normal flashcards, but digital version. Thank you for helping with A-level maths. Got the grade. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy that you got the grade that's needed. Thanks. I'm thinking about dropping computer science because I looked at the specification for year 13 and it looks horrible. What A-levels do you do? What A-levels do you do? Because to be honest, yeah, like Emmanuel said, yeah, I made a video of Emmanuel actually. He did computer science. He smashed computer science A-levels. He was in my class. The jump isn't actually that bad. It's not as bad as other subjects. Just as long as you're, staying on top of things, and you revise as much as possible. I think you'll end up doing very well. I'm not going to blow the camera kiss. For example, I did AQA, and if I was already confident, I think I answered. But yeah, pretty much, with year 13, hold up. Hi, Asan, as well. I really hope I said your name right. Did I miss any questions? If I missed any questions, please let me know, because I just hope I didn't. But yeah, pretty much year 13 computer science. I won't lie, I did struggle a bit, but that's just because I didn't really focus on computer science revision in general. Kieran, remember that time you created C programming? Thank you. Thanks, by the way. It's okay. It's okay, I'll take. I really wish I had my mod, man. I really wish I had my mod right now. I leave the majority of A-level students to yeah. But pretty much that is me. That is my design section. The technical solution, I don't really need to go through much, because what is the technical solution about? That's just me talking about everything I went through. I'm not that dumb, man. I'm not that dumb. I am not that dumb to be pronouncing whatever you just said. In fact, can I just ban you? I can mute you, by the way. I have got that authority. No, I'm joking. What are the best ways to revise for A-level computer science? I've actually made a video going through all of that. the best ways to revise for computer science, you know, things like that. I'm definitely not making you more. That is for sure. I've gone through the best ways to, you know, literally just do the best you can in A-level computer science. But one thing I do recommend for theory paper is using Quizlet or Anki and just memorize as much as possible, because theory based for me, there was a lot that I needed to memorize, especially in a short amount of time. And by using Quizlet, that was the best way for me. I mentioned so many different other resources that, like, in that video, so I really do recommend you watch it or give it a watch. It's not just because it's not just to big up my channel. I don't mean it any way, shape, or form. It's genuinely just because, you know, that is the advice I linked, because I shared a lot of resources and a lot of things in the links to that description. But yeah, just, you know, watch that video. I recommend. Alright, leaving now. Best of luck with stream. Cheers, Arte. Take care, man. God bless. Stay hydrated. Technical solution. I'm going to go through the technical solution now, and I'll see if I can answer any questions along the way. A system that meets almost all of the requirements of a solution, an investigation. I don't know how much I got for this, to be honest. But yeah, pretty much during the technical solution, you just mention every single thing you've done. Like, literally mention everything here. So go to here. By the way, for those who wanting to do coursework and everything, or who have to do coursework, Group A, have as many algorithms here as possible. This is what gets you your marks. If you get as many of these as possible, you're gonna get top marks. If you implement as many as possible, you're gonna get top marks. And yeah, just do as many of these as possible. Use as many of these as possible. I reached a bit at the end. I just tried to list as many Group A's as possible. But yeah, that's essentially what it's about. And this is my full code. I'm not really gonna go through my full code because I don't understand it anymore. But yeah, this is my full code. And the very final section is testing. So wait, what I do want to mention, I'm so sorry I'm going back. I'm sorry I'm backtracking. What I do want to mention with the code is try and reach as excellent as possible. One thing about my code that I regret is that it was very messy. Like, I was not messy, it was laid out pretty well. There were annotations, like where needed, you know, which is something that's good, that is mentioned in somewhere. You know, that you comment as much as possible. Add comments to every single line of code you do, because that will get you marks, because that's all, you know, well organized and all of that. Use meaningful and identifying names, but also don't use like variables that you won't need. Like, don't use variables that are completely useless, because, you know, it won't get you more marks. It will get you less marks, I think. Yeah, it got me less marks. But this is the testing phase. This is the final, no, not the final one, but one of the final phases. And this one was a pain. I hate this one. Pretty much what testing's all about. Sorry, 1 second. I'm doing a GPS for my coursework. Do you have any tips? You're doing a GPS. Yeah, if I have any tips, my tip would be, you know, type in the coursework you're doing and see if on Reddit anyone's doing anything similar and anyone's giving any tips to full GPSs. I'm pretty sure there's so many different ways that you can improve a GPS system, which is a very good coursework idea. If you have a coursework idea which can allow you to make multiple things or include multiple different, different programs and different ways of processing data, then that's a brilliant coursework. That's the course that you want. Especially coursework that can implement as much of these as possible. If you can make a coursework that can implement as much of these as possible, then that's the best thing. So I recommend, searching GPS, what can I do? Maybe copy and paste this whole thing. If you're doing AQA, if you're doing OCR, there might be a table like this that shows you all of the different things that you can include in your program that are in Group A. Copy and paste this into ChatGPT. Say I'm creating a GPS for my coursework. What here can I include, that can get me top marks? And then you can also ask ChatGPT how to do it. But 80% of the time it ends up being incorrect. So just double check the code. Don't rely too much on ChatGPT. They're not the best programmers, to be honest. They make a lot of logical errors. But yeah, I'm doing a 2D racing game, but I need to learn C++. C++, I recommend with Python, just go on YouTube, look up YouTube tutorials to do C++, and maybe even go and type in 2D racing games in C++. See someone go through, making the 2D racing game on YouTube, and see exactly what you can take from that, what you don't want to take from that, and then just run with that. But also think of everyone watching, think of a GUI to use, a graphical user interface. What graphical user interface is something that allows you to see this. I think it's do you call it a library? I'm not sure. But it's essentially something that allows you to see your program, As in, Tkinter was the one I used. Tkinter allowed me to add this title, to add this box, to allow me to switch from one frame to the next, So yeah. But going into testing, this is what testing is. Essentially, what testing's all about is going through the objectives that you had at the start. You know how I was mentioning the objectives at the start of this here? I was mentioning the objectives. Sorry. I mentioned the objectives here. Testing is all about going through your coursework and then, being like, okay, this is the first objective. And then in testing, showing you how exactly I achieved the first objective. So actually going through the program. Please explain more about the graphical user interface. So essentially, this is a graphical user interface. So if I show you my actual code here, this looks very complicated, but I use YouTube tutorials to help me guide me through most of this. So the graphical interface, user interface, I imported Tkinter. Tkinter was the graphical user interface that I used. By using Tkinter, I was able to do things like, able to do things like creating a button, allowing to create a push button or anything like that. And a good graphical user interface isn't what gets you marks. So don't worry too much about I need to make this project look amazing. That's not what gets you the marks. What gets you the marks is how complicated it is, how many algorithms from Group A that you're using. That's what gets you your marks. But essentially, like I said with my first objective, it was to create 3 buttons. Test 1, I did that, Test 2, I did that. Test 3, I did that. If anyone's doing AQA, what they don't tell you is you want to, all of these, most of these were passed. You don't want all of them to be passed. You don't want to pass all of them. You don't want to pass all the tests that you do. So, for instance, there was a test that I failed, which was this one, which was test number 15. Basically, to explain this in the best way possible, because I hope I'm explaining things okay. If I'm not, so sorry. But basically, you know how I said that this section's all about testing your objectives? You're gonna want to make it so then one of your objectives is one of them you fail, like you fail on purpose. And this may say be like, well, why would you fail your test? You know, if you fail your test, you're gonna drop marks. What the examiner is after is, can you like run into an error, and can you fix that error? So in objective number 15, I ran into an error, you know. Let's look at test number 15 and show you exactly what I mean. So these are exactly how I laid out my testing process. Okay, let's go to test number 15. So test number 15 is all about this is the question page. So they'll ask this question, and when comparing, not this is the question. This is the answer page. So I think I answered this. And when comparing application software and application soft walk, the program should calculate a minimum distance of 2. Remember when I explained the Levenstein distance algorithm? However, it actually ends up calculating a distance of 5, which is 3 more than expected. And I have manipulated my code so then it was able to, give this logical error. This is called a logical error. What essentially a logical error is your program works fine, as in I can run the program and it's fine. However, it doesn't work in the way that you've intended it to work. So I've intended it to create a minimum distance of 2. It ends up being 5. I know this sounds complicated. I'm sorry if it does. And after taking some time, I spotted the logical error. And essentially what this program did is just calculated it wrong. So I ended up making the program wrong. I made a few tweaks to make it wrong. And now, after I corrected it, during this testing, I corrected my code. And this essentially shows the examiner that, any time you're faced with a problem, you know how to fix it. So that's why you want to deliberately make some of them wrong. And here it's just me going through the testing phases. Like, if I go through it in sequential order, because I just skipped to test number 15. Test number 1 is that. Test number 2 is that. Test number 3 is that. I'm just going through different windows. Test number 4, you can enter a title. I enter computer science. After I add a flashcard, and create the new set, all of this disappears. So you see how here was 4. Here it just disappears. And then you're able to actually view the deck that you created. View the flashcards that you have. And all of that stuff. But yeah. You're also able to remove all of the flashcards that you have. You're able to remove selected flashcards. This was all a mess. I hated this coursework. And there's also, I'll tell you exactly how many tests that I purposefully got wrong. I got 1 wrong. I got another one. I think I got 2 wrong. Yeah, I purposefully got 2 wrong, but I passed all of the rest. And, when you fail at a test, make sure you correct it afterwards. But that is essentially my coursework. That's essentially my coursework. Evaluation goes through just, reflections on what you've done, client feedback. And yeah, that's essentially my coursework. If you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Or if you want me to go through anything that I've missed or anything like that, then please let me know. But yeah, that was essentially me going through my coursework. Yeah, there was so much that I've done. I've written It was all 158 pages long. I'm no English student. I'm not very good at English in general. Yeah, this coursework, even just looking at it, was a pain to create, you know, the code and stuff. So if anyone here is struggling with, you know, coursework or anything like that, it's honestly like, you're not alone. I do want to show you something that like I use to help me with this. We'll just look at like exactly what I need, see how I should structure my report. What is it called again? It's a video about Mr. Brown CS. So this guy is a legend, Mr. Brown CS, and essentially there was one where he looked at AQA, NEA. Yeah, so this guy was very good. He made a video pretty much explaining how to, you know, create a I'm just gonna yeah, so essentially he made a video going through like how to create your coursework for AQA. I don't know if he's done this for OCR. Oh, sick, he's done this for OCR. Please go through this video. Please go through this video. Goes through each section, goes through the analysis, the design, the technical solution, the testing, and evaluation. And he does it very, very well. So well. So please go through these videos if you have not yet. I probably should have mentioned that at the start of this video actually. I'll definitely put a description of these like links, you know. But yeah, that's essentially it. I think I'm gonna call it for the stream. I will be streaming again during university, to be honest. I just want to enjoy as many weeks as possible because I don't have any revision to do. But when I'm revising, that's when I'm gonna be streaming most of the time. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Whether you've watched this as a video or if you watched this as a live stream, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this live stream. And if there's anything that I haven't mentioned or anything that I haven't explained very well, or anything you need a bit of clarity on, please let me know on Instagram or DM me on Instagram, and then I'll be more than happy to help you or answer like as many questions as possible, and just help you out. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you have enjoyed the live stream or this video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below what you thought of the video, obviously like I just said, and please stay tuned for more videos coming out later. Alright, God bless you all. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and peace. When does uni start? Freshers Week starts 23rd of September. University starts on the 30th. Wait, I couldn't find anything. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Ika. Please, I'll try and see if I can find something. Please DM me on Instagram, and anything I find, I'll like let you know. Yeah, hope you enjoyed. Take care. In fact, I don't know if you're still on the stream. I'll go look now. Why not? Actually, I'll look now. I'll send you after. Alright.